You know what's sad? I mean, absolutely heartbreaking is when someone passes before their time and they had such an online presence. I mean, you'd go check their social media and they seem so vibrant, so alive, so very much in the moment. But unfortunately, they're never going to post again. This story is about that. It's about someone who I used to live with about 7 years ago. He was my roommate, and later I was lucky enough to call him my friend. When he moved in, he was quite possibly, quite definitely, the most wholesome man I've ever met in my life. Very approachable, non-judgmental, easy to talk to. It was like meeting a long-lost friend. And he would extend his personality out to just about everyone. He was the person you would talk to if you were feeling down, if you were feeling up, if you needed advice. He was just so sweet to his core. There was a lot to like about him. So certainly, after settling down in the area, he went out on a date and got himself a girlfriend. She seemed nice enough, a little quirky, not necessarily my type, but to each their own. After some time, he approached me and said, "Hey, my girlfriend wants to go to law school. I'm going to support her throughout this endeavor. Is it okay if she comes lives with us?" I said, "Sure." She would study. She quit her job and she just focused on her studies quite intensely. After some time, when I switched my schedule at work, I would come in quite early. I would always see this guy there, and he would slink away, almost like cower up, like a lizard going into the corner of the room. He never even introduced himself to me. She did, but he never looked at me eye to eye. It felt so very odd. Why would you be like that? Why would you act like that? So certainly my suspicion arose. I never told my friend about this particular individual. He was aware of him, but I don't know if he realized how often he was there. I don't know why I didn't tell him. I guess because at that time, he was still kind of a roommate. We almost had a business professional relationship, and I didn't necessarily think it was my place to tell him about this. And I'm hoping, and I'm thinking this girl is as wholesome as he is. Time goes on. She graduates her law school, and she's focusing on some kind of test to take to be a lawyer. It takes some time for that, I guess. Anyway, they get engaged and they decide they're going to go ahead and move out on their own. Certainly, I understood that. And eventually, they got married. Time went on. She completed her law school, like I mentioned, but I think she was having a lot of difficulty passing whatever particular test to actually become a lawyer. Shortly after they got married, you see, she divorced him. And she ended up marrying so very quickly the slime ball that was at my house. How upsetting is that? How disgusting is that? She used him for whatever marriage benefits she was obtaining. I'm sure she tried to get alimony from this guy. And then on top of that, she leaves him for a slime ball, a guy with very low intelligence, a guy with no creativity, a guy who is not a man. I felt so very bad for him. He was broken, certainly. But he still was so optimistic. He would focus on the good points of their relationship, and he just moved on best he could. I always felt bad about that, and although I never completely lost contact with him, we obviously weren't seeing each other on a daily basis. Couple years go by and he gets engaged to another woman. This girl is absolutely beautiful. I mean, she looks like a model, way out of his league, but she comes down. I meet her briefly and she seems so very kind. She's just like him. They're both well-traveled. She's from Argentina. She has some degree in international business and she has worked various places in the world. She was just like him. You could see why they became a couple very quickly. And yes, she was very wholesome indeed. After some time, she got engaged to him. I thought to myself, man, what a perfect couple. I wish I got to be in a relationship like that one day. They decided they were going to go on a vacation. They had already, at this point, been to a number of places around the world. But they were going to go to Kenya this time to celebrate their engagement. I believe it was Kenya. Anyway, they were going around a particular mountain that had a lot of significance for the people of Kenya. I think maybe it was spiritual. from what I understand, it was the mountain that was in Lion King, where one reaches up the little cub and, whatever, proclaims that he's going to be king. I never watched the movie, but the tour guide would take them on the outside of that. And that particular day, it was very wet, and they weren't really dressed to get wet, and they wanted to stay dry. He asked the tour guide if they could climb it because he saw some trails, and he said, you can. I would not recommend it. And as a matter of fact, our company is unwilling and unable to take you on that trip. But if you want to go, he detailed the trails. He mentioned it was dangerous. They went, him and his girlfriend, and they went through the trail, and he really wanted to go, and the girlfriend had some doubts, but she said some of the areas were definitely dangerous, and there's like rock sheaths, and they're known to slide out. Anyway, they got up about 40 feet, 50 feet in the mountain, and he fell. And apparently she was able to grab him a little bit, but she couldn't hold on. He fell. He died. Her heart shattered. Everyone's heart shattered. Imagine his mom was very close to him, and imagine hearing your son that you're so very proud of, that's freshly engaged to the woman of his dreams, is now dead after the tragedy he went through with his ex-wife and being taken for everything he had. He was rebuilding himself better. He had so much life to live, and he enjoyed every moment of it. Life is not fair. He got ripped off. I don't know if the gods did it for a cruel joke. I don't know if it was just a random thing that happens. Point being, it's so heartbreaking. His funeral happened, and his mom had 2 strokes on that day, adding to the overall tragedy. His fiance became a shut-in after this. To this day, she still kind of is. She doesn't post about her travels. She used to have a blog. She used to, again, update her social media so much. She had like a little business going on the side, and she doesn't do any of that. It's almost like she disappeared, and that's very sad as well. I never really knew her enough to like send her a DM or anything, but my heart always went out to her because I could sense that she was heartbroken in a completely different way, losing someone like that. The sadness just kind of went through, and for whatever reason today, I decided I would look up his social media, and I looked through it. And again, he looked so vibrant, so alive. You can see all these pictures of him. He would go to a lot of concerts and have pictures with rock stars. He loved WWE and had pictures with almost all the superstars. And he just went absolutely everywhere. He enjoyed food. He enjoyed travel, obviously. He enjoyed being alive. His ex-wife was notified by one of my family members that was close to both of them. She told my family member, I hope he found what he was looking for. That was her response after finding out that the guy she was with, that she cheated on, that she tried to take all of his money, had passed away. Nothing like, I'm sad, this is tragic. I hope he found what he was looking for. What a complete, utter, total cunt. I looked up this girl as well. I wanted to find out what happened to her after she went away with the slime ball. She's still with the slime ball. She's still with him. I guess there's no revenge story to add to it, but I looked her up thoroughly. I remember when she was dating my friend, she was fairly attractive. I mean, fairly fit. She took care of herself. She took care of her hair. And now she's put on well over 100 pounds. She never became a lawyer. She works an average desk job. As a matter of fact, she works at the company I used to work at, and it's not a very good company to work for. She seems like she's so very happy, and her husband is a tub of lard. I mean, this guy is like a planet. He's built like a planet. So they look absolutely horrible. They look like they eat French fries and dough all day. I mean, they're just lumps of dough. I wanted to, and I still might send her an ugly message. You see, not too long ago, it was my former roommate's birthday. And that's kind of like why I viewed his profile. So much promise. And then you have, on the other hand, this horrible cunt who gets to live her life with her love. Not fair, man. Not fair at all. I guess the point is, absolutely appreciate the days that you do have. If you feel bad or you feel like life is unfair, think about the story. Think about people who may have gone through something similar, and know you're a lot luckier than you think. I want you to have a nice day. I want you to be kind to yourself, and I want you to be kind to others. Until next time, have a good one.